Hello, my dear friends. My name is Margaret, and I'm 72 years old. Over the years, I've experienced many quiet moments in the middle of the night, and I know how unsettling it can be when you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., lying there in the stillness, unable to fall back asleep. At first, I thought it was just a part of aging, nothing more than my body adjusting to the changes in life. But over time, I came to realize that these early morning hours could be more than just a physical interruption. They are often the body's way of sending us a message, one that holds not only clues about our physical well-being, but also the state of our emotional health. In the peaceful solitude of these early hours, I began to notice a pattern. It wasn't always easy to confront, but I started seeing these moments as an opportunity for reflection and growth rather than just something to be endured. As we age, it's common to wake up in the middle of the night, and sometimes it feels as though our minds are racing, trying to process all the unspoken emotions we have tucked away during the day. But here's the truth. These quiet, lonely hours can be a sign of something much deeper. It might be your body asking for care, or your heart trying to deal with unresolved emotions. And believe it or not, it can be a beautiful opportunity for self-reflection and self-care. In this episode of Golden Years Bliss, let's talk about what happens when we wake up at odd hours, what it could mean, and how we can embrace these moments to improve our well-being. Stay with me as we dive into this delicate and often overlooked aspect of aging. You may be surprised at how these peaceful moments can become your secret to feeling more grounded and in control of your life. As I sit here now, sipping my warm tea by the window, I reflect on the early mornings I've spent in solitude. It's a quiet peace that has taught me more than I ever could have imagined. You see, waking up at 3 a.m. or even 4 a.m. doesn't have to be something to dread. In fact, I've come to look forward to it, in a way. While at first, it felt like a curse, something I had to fight against, I've learned that these moments hold a deep and quiet power. I remember the first time I found myself awake in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, thinking, why can't I sleep? The anxiety would wash over me as I realized that the more I tried to fall back asleep, the more elusive it became. But then, over time, I began to realize that trying to force myself to sleep was only adding more tension. And that, my dear friends, was the first lesson I learned. Don't fight it. Instead of rolling around in bed, frustrated by the quiet stillness, I decided to sit up, take a deep breath, and slowly exhale. I would gently close my eyes and reflect. The trick was to stop seeing these early mornings as an inconvenience and start embracing them as an opportunity to care for myself. I've learned that the body and mind are often trying to tell us something during these hours, and instead of resisting, we can open ourselves to listen. One of the first things I do when I wake up early is practice mindful breathing. The quietness of the house, the cool night air coming through the window, makes it the perfect moment to pause and center myself. I breathe in deeply through my nose, filling my lungs slowly, and then exhale through my mouth. This simple practice, though small, sets the tone for the rest of the day. It's like hitting a reset button for my mind and body. Now, if I still feel restless, I don't just lie there in frustration. I make a cup of warm water with a squeeze of lemon or a dash of sea salt. It's a small act, but I found it does wonders for my body. You see, when we wake up in the middle of the night, we can often be dehydrated, even if we don't feel thirsty. And what I've learned is that drinking water at the right temperature, preferably warm or room temperature, helps. The body absorb the water better and balance out electrolytes, giving me that extra bit of calm to slip back into restful sleep. Hydration is key, my friends. But what I think is most important, the tip that helped me the most in those early mornings, is embracing the quiet and reflecting. When I would lie in bed awake, I used to get overwhelmed with thoughts about the past or future. But now, I've learned to turn that restless energy into reflection. I keep a notebook next to my bed, and I jot down thoughts that come to mind. Sometimes it's a creative idea that pops up out of nowhere, or maybe it's just a few words of gratitude. These moments of reflection, when the world is asleep, are some of the most powerful moments of my day. So, to those of you who might also find yourselves waking up in the early hours, feeling frustrated or uneasy, I invite you to try something different. Don't fight it, embrace it. Use these quiet moments to nourish your body, calm your mind, and reflect on what really matters. You might be surprised at how much you learn about yourself in these still, peaceful hours. Remember, these early mornings don't have to be seen as something to endure, but rather as an opportunity to connect with yourself in a way that is often lost during the busy parts of the day. Take a deep breath, sip some warm water, write down your thoughts, and let yourself be. After all, life doesn't always have to be lived at a rush. Sometimes, the greatest wisdom comes in the quiet moments. As I sit quietly, sipping my warm tea, I realize how much has changed for me over the years. What used to be a time of frustration, those early morning hours when I would wake up and lie there, unable to sleep, has now become a time of reflection and renewal. I can still remember the first time I truly realized this change. It was a crisp autumn morning around 4 a.m. when I woke up feeling uneasy. I checked the clock, my heart racing slightly as I realized that, once again, I was awake before dawn. In the past, this would have made me feel anxious, as if my body was betraying me. The silence in the room only amplified my worries, and I found myself worrying about everything I had left to do in the day ahead, or worse, wondering why I couldn't just fall back asleep. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, thinking to myself, what's wrong with me? Why can't I sleep like everyone else? But that morning, something was different. Instead of succumbing to frustration, I decided to just breathe. I sat up in bed, took a deep breath, and let it out slowly. And then it hit me, this is a gift. This stillness, this quiet time, was not a burden, but an opportunity. I was surprised by the clarity of my thoughts. I started to realize how much pressure I had been putting on myself, believing that sleep was the only way to restore energy. But in those early hours, I felt a sense of calm I hadn't noticed before. Rather than worrying about the things I couldn't control, I embraced the stillness. I knew that instead of pushing myself to sleep, I could use this time to focus on my thoughts, to slow down, and to appreciate the gift of a moment just for me. It was in this quiet that I realized something truly important. Waking up early doesn't have to be a sign of weakness or something to dread. It can be a powerful time of self-reflection and growth. As I sat on the edge of my bed, my notebook in hand, I began jotting down my thoughts, no matter how simple they were. Sometimes, I wrote down a memory that made me smile or a wish I had for the future. But one morning, I wrote something that stuck with me. What if these quiet hours are my chance to create the life I want? And that, my friends, was the turning point for me. I realized that these moments, when the world was still, were not something to rush through or be upset by. They were a gift, a time to reframe my mindset, reflect, and reset my thoughts. I could now transform these moments of early waking into a productive and fulfilling part of my day. I've learned that our minds are most awake in the early hours of the morning. The world is calm, the distractions of daily life haven't yet intruded, and this allows us to tune into ourselves. These moments have taught me that sometimes we need to take a step back in order to move forward. Looking back, I can't help but smile at how far I've come. I now greet those early mornings with excitement rather than dread. I feel empowered by the quiet, knowing that this time is mine to embrace. Whether it's writing, meditating, or simply enjoying a cup of tea, I've learned to turn these moments into a time of personal growth. So, when you find yourself awake in the early hours, don't despair. Embrace it as an opportunity for reflection, self-discovery, and peace. You might just find that these quiet hours hold more power than you ever realized. As I sat there in the calm of the early morning, a soft realization washed over me. It's okay to feel anxious. For so long, I had been hard on myself whenever I found myself awake in the middle of the night. I thought I should always be at ease, never feeling the rush of nerves or concern. But the truth is, it's natural to feel uneasy sometimes, especially when you're alone with your thoughts in those quiet hours. What really matters is how we choose to handle that anxiety when it arises. I remember a particular morning when the stillness in my room seemed to make my mind race even faster. It was 3:30 a.m., and I couldn't stop thinking about everything I still had to do that day. I thought about my appointments, my errands, and all the little things I had forgotten to do. It felt overwhelming, but instead continuing to lie there feeling trapped in my thoughts, I decided to change my approach. I stood up slowly, feeling the coolness of the floor beneath my feet. I took a deep breath, just like I had learned to do, and then I moved toward the window. I didn't rush through it. I allowed myself to just be in that moment. I could feel my body start to unwind as I shifted my focus away from my thoughts and instead toward the sensations in my body. That's when I remembered something I had read about: gentle movement to help calm anxiety. I began with a simple stretch, reaching my arms toward the ceiling, feeling the lengthening of my body. I took a slow, deliberate deep breath as I stretched, letting my body know it was time to let go of tension. Then I slowly leaned forward, feeling the stretch in my back and hamstrings. It wasn't a strenuous movement, but more of a way to connect with my body, to show it kindness and care. The act of gently moving helped me release the tightness in my muscles, and with it, a little bit of the anxiety seemed to fade away. I'm learning that these early hours don't need to be filled with frustration if I can shift my perspective. If I can't fall back asleep, why not gently move instead? The act of stretching or simply walking around my room helps to calm my nerves and put my body back in sync. It's a form of self-care, a way of honoring my body when my mind is racing. Sometimes I'll sit back down on my bed, close my eyes, and simply focus on my breathing, in through my nose, out through my mouth, slowly, steadily. I let the rhythm of my breath become my anchor, guiding me back to a peaceful place. As the minutes pass, I feel my muscles relax, my heartbeat slow, and my mind quiet. It's as if my body is reminding me there is no rush. I used to think I had to force myself to sleep when I woke up too early, but now I've realized that listening to my body is the key. If I'm not able to sleep, then I move gently, breathe deeply, and focus on what I can control in that moment: my physical well-being. These small, mindful actions have become a form of meditation for me. And more importantly, they allow me to embrace the stillness of the early morning hours with grace instead of anxiety. Each morning, I am learning to embrace the gift of these quiet moments. The world hasn't woken up yet, and for that short time, I can focus on my own peace and well-being. By managing my anxiety through gentle movements and relaxation, I've been able to find a sense of calm that I didn't know was possible. And I know that even if sleep doesn't come right away, these small practices are helping me stay centered, no matter what the day ahead holds. So, if you ever find yourself awake in the middle of the night, don't panic. Instead, try a gentle stretch, a deep breath, and give yourself permission to relax. Sometimes the best way to face anxiety is to slow down and listen to your body. As the days went by, I found myself slowly growing more comfortable with the early morning awakenings. But there were still moments when the anxiety crept in, when my mind wouldn't stop racing with all the things I had to do, or the emotions that seemed to be bubbling to the surface. It wasn't always easy to silence the worry, but I had to learn not to let it take control of me. I had to change my mindset. The first step was acknowledging my feelings, accepting that it was okay to feel anxious, but it wasn't okay to let that anxiety dictate my day. I realized that for so long, I had tried to control everything, thinking that if I just pushed harder or kept my mind busy enough, the anxiety would go away. But what I've learned is that fighting against it only makes things worse. Instead, I started leaning into the stillness, trusting that my body and mind knew what they needed. And that's when I discovered something truly powerful: the power of sound. I remembered reading that gentle, soothing sounds can help calm the nervous system, so I decided to give it a try. One morning, after I'd gone through my usual routine of stretching and deep breathing, I reached for my phone and played a gentle soundscape. It was soft, like the quiet hum of the ocean or the rustling of leaves in the wind. As I listened, I noticed something amazing. It was as though the noise in my mind started to fade, replaced by a gentle, comforting rhythm. My body relaxed, my breath deepened, and suddenly, the overwhelming thoughts didn't seem so frightening anymore. I let the sound wash over me as I sat in my favorite chair, looking out the window at the soft morning light. The birds chirped in the distance, and I could feel the tension in my body melting away with each note. The sound created a space of peace. It was like a calm presence, one that I could trust to guide me through the quiet of the early morning hours. I started using sound more regularly during those restless moments. Sometimes it was the quiet whispers of wind chimes or a soft melody played on the piano. Each time, it helped me to slow down, to release my grip on the things I couldn't control, and simply be present. I had always been someone who found comfort in silence, but now I've learned that sound, when used mindfully, can be a tool for relaxation and rejuvenation. It's like creating a sacred space in the chaos, allowing me to tune into something gentle and healing. I now keep a few favorite soundscapes ready on my phone. Whether it's the sound of raindrops tapping gently on the roof or the soft lapping of waves on a shore, it's become my go-to tool for finding peace in those early hours. The best part? I've learned that it's not about changing the world around me, it's about creating the peace within me. So, when you find yourself awake in the middle of the night, instead of wrestling with your thoughts, try playing a sound that soothes you. It might be a gentle lullaby, the sound of nature, or even a soft instrumental tune. Let the sound guide you back to your center, reminding you that everything is okay. The world can wait. Your peace is what matters most. As I continued my journey of embracing these early hours, I realized something important. The way we handle the quiet moments in life can truly shape our day. Instead of dreading waking up in the middle of the night or in the early morning, I began to view it as an opportunity, a chance to realign myself for the day ahead. And with this new perspective, I developed a simple but powerful 5-step routine to help me manage these moments and turn them into something positive. Step 1. Don't fight it, accept it. The first thing I've learned is to stop fighting the wake up. When I first started waking up during these hours, I would panic, thinking I had to fall back asleep no matter what. But now, I've realized that trying to force sleep is the worst thing you can do. So instead, I've learned to simply accept the wakefulness. I lie in bed, take a deep breath, and remind myself that it's okay to be awake. Acceptance is key. Once I let go of the tension, I can relax into the moment, knowing that I don't need to rush back to sleep immediately. Step 2, breathe deeply. Reset your mind and body. After accepting the wakefulness, I move on to deep breathing. This step has truly been transformative for me. I sit up in bed, place my feet on the floor, and take a few deep, slow breaths. Inhale through your nose, hold for a moment, and then exhale through your mouth. This simple act signals to my body that it's okay to relax and reset. It has a calming effect on my nervous system, and it helps me feel centered, even if I'm still a little sleepy. Step 3, reflect. Journal your thoughts or gratitude. Once I feel settled, I reach for my journal. I keep it beside my bed, always ready for those moments when my mind is racing or I'm feeling uncertain. I take a moment to jot down whatever comes to mind, whether it's thoughts, feelings, or things I'm grateful for. It doesn't have to be profound. Sometimes it's as simple as writing down, "I'm thankful for the warm cup of tea I'll enjoy later," or "I'm grateful for the sun rising in the sky." These little notes help clear my mind, and by the time I'm done, I often feel a sense of calm and clarity. Step 4, hydrate. Drink the right kind of water by this time. My body has been awake for a while, and it's important to hydrate. But not with any old water. I've learned to drink room temperature water, or better yet, water with a splash of lemon or a pinch of sea salt. It replenishes my body and gets my system going without shocking it with cold water. Hydration is key, especially after a night of sleep when my body has lost essential minerals. This simple habit makes me feel better instantly. Step 5, move gently, stretch, and reset your body. Finally, I engage in some gentle stretching. It's a simple but highly effective way to reawaken my body and mind. I start by sitting on the edge of the bed, stretching my arms above my head, and then slowly leaning forward to touch my toes. I gently roll my neck, and with each movement, I feel my muscles releasing any tension. It's not about doing an intense workout. It's just about getting the blood flowing and giving my body the care it deserves. These 5 steps have become my secret weapons in navigating those quiet early hours. Rather than letting them disrupt my day, I've learned to embrace them, turning them into a time of peaceful reflection, self-care, and gratitude. Now, when I wake up during those early hours, instead of feeling frustrated or helpless, I feel empowered and grateful for the opportunity to pause, reflect, and reset. And when I return to sleep, I do so with a sense of peace, knowing I've given myself the care and attention I need. I may not always fall back asleep right away, but when I do, I wake up feeling rejuvenated and ready to face whatever the day holds. So, my dear friends, the next time you find yourself awake at 3 a.m. or 5 a.m., don't see it as an obstacle. Embrace it as an opportunity for self-care and growth. With these 5 steps, you can transform that wakeful time into a peaceful, powerful moment that will serve you well throughout the rest of the day. As I reflect on these moments of quiet wakefulness, I realize something profound. Life is not about avoiding challenges, but embracing them with grace and intention. It's easy to get caught up in the frustration of waking up too early, thinking it's a setback or something to be feared. But over time, I've learned that these moments, as inconvenient as they may seem, are gifts. They offer us an opportunity to pause, reflect, and realign ourselves with what truly matters. In those still hours of the morning, we are given a rare chance to connect with ourselves, to listen to our bodies, our minds, and our hearts. And that connection is invaluable, especially as we grow older. It's through these moments of stillness that we discover our true strength and resilience. So, my dear friends, I want to leave you with this simple yet powerful message. Don't be afraid of the quiet moments, the early wake-ups, or the moments of uncertainty. These are the moments where we find clarity and peace. They are the moments where we reconnect with ourselves and discover how to be gentle with our hearts. As I've learned, it's not about always being perfect or following the script of what society expects of us. It's about taking each day, each moment, and embracing it fully. Whether it's through reflection, hydration, movement, or simple gratitude, we have the power to transform our experiences. So, let these early morning hours become a part of your journey, a reminder that we are never too old to grow, to reflect, or to embrace change. Life is full of possibilities, even in the quietest moments. I've found that the greatest peace often comes from learning to be still, listening, and trusting the process of life. Thank you for joining me today, and I encourage you to try these steps the next time you find yourself awake in the early hours. May you find peace, strength, and clarity, just as I have. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to create joy and find balance in our lives, no matter our age. Until next time, my dear friends, take care of yourselves, embrace the quiet, and always move forward with a heart full of peace. Before I leave you today, I want to encourage you to take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. If you found value in this video, I would be so grateful if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the Senior Moments Matter channel. By subscribing, you'll become a part of this wonderful community where we share stories, wisdom, and experiences that help us all grow and thrive. I would also love to hear from you. How do you cope with those early morning wake-ups? Have you experienced moments of peace and reflection during these times? Or maybe you've found another way to transform these quiet hours into something meaningful? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to ask any questions you might have, or share any personal experiences that have helped you embrace life's quiet moments. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. We're all here to support each other, learn from one another, and continue growing no matter our age. So, join the conversation and share your experiences. Thank you again for being here, and I look forward to connecting with you all again in the next video. Stay peaceful, stay strong, and always take time to reflect on the beauty of your life. Until next time, take care.